Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Hopkirk, Sydney-based hair loss doctor and co-founder of Levels of You, Australian-based hair restoration company. Last week, I did a video on China's new topical hair loss drug, GT20029. And the week before, I also did a video on that. So there has been a lot of questions that have come out in the comment section, and today and next week I wanted to do a two-part Q&A answering your questions in detail and really give these great questions the airtime they deserve. If you're not familiar with GT20029, well, you can catch either last week or the week before's video and get a better understanding around how this topical hair loss drug works and what the phase 2 trials have revealed thus far. But let's jump into the questions today, and I will do 2 questions today, and then next week I'll cover 3 questions. So let's jump right into it. Thanks for this information on GT20029. Dr. Jonathan, sounds very promising. Can you advise how this treatment differs from the other new topical DHT antagonist, Breezula? All right, this is a great question. Breezula is the topical hair loss drug that is also in trial phases, otherwise known as clascoterone. It's an acne treatment as well as a potential androgenic alopecia treatment, and they work differently. All right, so for the purpose of today, I'm going to use this pre-made, pre-decorated whiteboard to give you a better understanding around how these particular drugs differ. So on the right here, you have GT20029, and what it shows is this is working at the level of the dermal papilla cell, this drug. And what happens, as I explained in the GT videos, is that it works through this method where you have GT binding to the androgen receptor, and the androgen receptor then gets flagged through this ubiquitin process. So ubiquitin acts as a bit of a flag, and that then attracts this proteasome. So the proteasome is in pink here, like Pac-Man. The proteasome then comes along and essentially degrades that flagged androgen receptor. So you can see I've drawn a little progressive scenario in which that androgen receptor is degraded. So what happens is it doesn't block DHT from binding to the androgen receptor. It doesn't reduce DHT peripherally or in the dermal papilla bloodstream. What it does is it actually degrades those androgen receptors. So you can see the androgen receptors are degraded, so that hair follicle has less androgen receptors, so less DHT can bind to those follicles, and then miniaturize them. So that is distinct from the Breezula mechanism of action. So Breezula is a potent antagonist at the DHT binding sites of androgen receptors. So where DHT would typically come along, these purple little DHT molecules would typically come along and bind to the androgen receptor and have the deleterious miniaturizing effect on the follicle. What clascoterone or Breezula does is instead it fills in that port. So it fills in that port where DHT would normally bind. So it is more potent at binding. It has a higher affinity for binding the androgen receptor than DHT does. So less DHT can bind onto the androgen receptor and have its negative effects. It doesn't reduce DHT levels. It doesn't interact with the 5-alpha reductase enzymes that convert testosterone to DHT. It binds competitively, ultra competitively at the androgen receptor. And so then what that means is that less DHT can have an effect on that hair follicle. So that's how GT20029 differ. GT degrades the androgen receptor, while Breezula binds the androgen receptor. Question number 2, PP405 versus GT20029 video. Well, I'm glad you asked, because here is one that I prepared earlier. So whiteboard session for this question as well. So PP405. So if you haven't watched my video on this particular drug and all the ins and outs of mechanism of action and what the trials have revealed, then you can check that out here. But for the purpose of the today, let's just break down what exactly happened. So this isn't working at the level of the dermal papilla cell where things like GT20029 and Breezula are. It's actually working on the mitochondrial pyruvate carrier of the stem cells in the bulge. So the bulge is where the stem cells are typically housed. And what happens is PP405 PP405 binds to the mitochondrial pyruvate carrier, MPC, and it interacts with it in such a way that it shifts cellular metabolism, so stem cells then become active again, which means that dormant hair follicles re-enter the hair growth cycle, so they can activate dormant hair follicles, and that's really encouraging. And it does this independent of DHT, so it doesn't change hormones, does not mitigate DHT interaction with those binding sites one iota. So if you compare that to GT, we'll call it GT for short because my tongue's getting tired. What happens with GT, as we just answered in that first question, is GT comes along at the level of the dermal papilla cell where you've got these DHT molecules binding to the androgen receptor, and as we just said, through this ubiquitin process, PROTAC technology, you've got the situation in which that little androgen receptor gets flagged by the ligase, the proteasome comes along and degrades the androgen receptor, and so you have less androgen receptors available to bind DHT. So they are very distinct. PP405 has no interaction whatsoever with the DHT androgen binding sites, or androgen receptor binding sites. GT does. So they work independently, very different mechanisms of action. So I hope that summarizes that question for you. So those are the first two questions. Fairly detailed answers because there's a little bit to it. So I wanted to give a really good understanding of exactly how those drugs differ from each other. As I said, you can always watch the videos that I've already done on these particular drugs. Although Breezily, I'll be doing a video on this in the coming weeks, but you can check out PP405 and GT20029. God, they don't make it easy to rattle all these things off the tongue, but you can watch those videos back and get a better understanding in detail. Next week, I'm going to answer the 3 remaining questions. Hope you've had a good week. Look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers.